Hello, it's Nikki and welcome to another part of our Sumeru journey. So this is actually future Nikki talking. This is going to be a bit of exploration and then we're going to head into our Sumeru Act 1 wrap up. So this is going to be a hefty amount of yapping about recorded yapping that I had when I finished first act. So let's hop into it. I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, this is one of the places I really wanted to explore. We got the teleport down there. Look at this valley. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I am so curious. It's so cool how the valley is like shaped around it. Like, I wonder what happened to cause this huge ravine. You know what I mean? This is such good world building and like storytelling through environments. Like, that's one of the things that I've noticed about Sumeru is that it's okay. All right, let's grab this. Wow. Ooh, looking at it like through the trees with like the plants swaying. It's so immersive. Oh man. Okay, let's get pictures. All right, what's in here? Looks like some kind of ruins or something. Oh, okay. So those floor patterns, I've been trying to figure out what these ruins, like which civilization they belong to, if they're like old Sumeru ruins or older than Sumeru. Okay, so, okay, this is, okay, perfect. Oh, wow, the water's going down, okay. So it's kind of like the Inazuma puzzles, a little bit. Aw, Kazuha made a cute little noise. I love when they laugh when they fly, like when the characters laugh. It's so cute. Oh my god, it's so spooky and quiet in here. What the fuck? Look at the fucking cattle! Or the, what's it called? The Sumpter Beasts? Oh. Oh, Sumpter Beast friend, give it a pet, Ito. Where is it going? Ooh, okay. I've been wanting to go in here. Let's go in here. Let's see what all this is about. I love how it's glowing. Like the mushrooms are so cool. Oh, look how she's walking. Oh, I don't wanna fight her. She's so cool. Well. Okay. There's an, why did the bees? No, I didn't want to kill it. Oh, we just it exploded. Oh my goodness! Look at this sunset. Ooh, music change. Ooh. Oh, it's one of these things. Oh, I thought I saw, oh no, the ground is kind of blue and sparkly where we step on it. Do you see that? That's so cool. Okay, give me this map. Gimme. Oof, yes. Wow, you guys, look how dark. Okay, I changed it to evening. Look, everything's glowing. Whoa, look at these flowers. Ooh. Where does this go? Oh, up on on top. Okay, maybe we go. I want to see the floor a little more. Hold on. Look at this plant. Look how cool. I love how bioluminescent it is. We've never seen anything like this in Genshin before. Ooh. I love how small we feel. Like in all the forests we've been to, like everything is so aware of our arrival. What? An alive forest? Okay. Okay, the forest is alive? And like maybe a sense more than simply the plants being alive? Okay. Interesting. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's the electro a big flower guy. Oh, cool. Look how the electro currents are like zapping around the plants. That's really cool. Okay, should we try and fight it? Okay. Maybe Geo wasn't a good option. I mean, we're doing we're doing nothing to it. Wait, listen, I can explain this decision. Listen, I think that Geo is one of the most powerful it's one of the most powerful elements in the game. It can overcome anything. It's like the trump card, actually. It's actually so powerful that it overcomes all other elements. Zhongli isn't the Geo Archon for nothing. Oh, okay, so we saw this thing from a distance. Oh, careful, girl. Okay. What the fuck is that? I love how misty and like the rain, it's raining here. I love this area. I love all the areas I've been to, but this is, oh, wait, why did it stop? Okay, so wait a minute. Does it stop at certain intervals? Okay, so I'm gonna quickly ascend my world. I just had the, I feel like I should. Yay! Okay, I don't know why I waited so long to do that. Okay, let's get our rewards really quick before we go back to Subaru. All right. Claim rewards. OMG. Oh my gosh, I waited so long to... Why did I wait so long to do that? Okay. 56, let's go. This is the guy that killed me before. I've brought friends. 2 ice queens, so prepare to die. You stupid. This is personal. I'm telling you, I tried to fight this thing off when I wasn't recording. Killed me. So fuck this guy. Die to the power of friendship and ice and rocks. Fuck you. Death. Yes. Fuck yeah. Fuck that guy. Yeah, okay. Wait. They don't know. Okay. Unlock the gate. Oh, okay. Okay. What on earth is this? I don't know if I should even touch it. It looks like, maybe, is it water? I don't know. This is the center of the glowy water sphere, so, or tower spire thing that goes up. So, huh. I don't know what this is. I'm trying to take a picture. Oh. Hello. Oh my god. Is that a fucking chest in the water? Fuck this. Zhongli, get in there. We're already sopping wet. Just put your hands in the water and get your Liwei Couture dirty. Okay, it's fine. We're already sopping wet. What's the point? All right, what fresh fuckery is this? Is this like those Inazuma lightning barriers? What is this? It's a puzzle. Flowers, look how pretty. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the environment? Look how the light from the moon is sifting down through the canopy. Oh my gosh, I love how look at the shifting light. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Oh my gosh, she was a fairy. Right in fairy agenda. It looks so cute with the little electro circle too. Ooh, what's this? Bubble? It's a bubble. Do I have to hit it? What do I do? How do I interact with it? Oh, there's another one. Multiple bubbles. Wait, hold on. Let me tell Senya. Bubble. It. Oh.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine. You just can't get into it because they.
Fuck you! Hello, welcome to the Act 1 character log wrap up thing. I know, quite a title. I've gotten really good reception on the character logs. Like, people really like hearing me yap about these characters, and I love hearing your thoughts in the comments and the videos and stuff. So I've figured that after each act, I am gonna do like a kind of like a big wrap up where I don't only talk about the characters after we finish each major quest, but we also kind of discuss maybe elements happening in the story. So we're going to be covering Act 1. Let's first just talk about our main character, our traveler. I think mindset wise going into Sumeru, Lumine has been pretty optimistic. I mean, I think she's a little tired, but I think Inazuma helped to really reshape how she approaches different nations now, because if you remember, she had quite a lot of trouble initially in Inazuma. And then by the end of the Inazuma story, like the whole arc of the nation, she kind of comes to realize, like, you know what, it's important that I care, because yes, I have my goal of finding my brother, but I think Lumine's slowly starting to realize that the greater story of Teyvat is intrinsically tied to her brother and the Abyss and the fate of this world. And she's, I think, finding herself more and more woven into not only how things will end up, like the fate of the world, but I think personally, she's finding herself caring more and more, personally caring about what happens to the people in Teyvat, and not just our companions, the average person. Like, yes, Lumine's like generally like altruistic, right? She does commissions, she's willing to help people, she's normally very helpful, always, well, Paimon is always offering our services. But I think Lumine is slowly starting to really care about the well-being of the people here, and if there's injustices going on, instead of feeling aggravated that she's involved in other people's problems, I think she's realizing that, like, she's one of the only people who can actually help them, and not just because like circumstances. She's one of the only people who can actually make a difference and can actually right some of the wrongs happening in Teyvat and bringing truths to light. And I think going into Sumeru with that all in mind for her, I think Sumeru is going to be very interesting. We're kind of thrown into what seems to be a pretty complex political landscape here. We've got a couple different factions. Everyone's kind of vying for power in certain ways. Lumine is still very unfamiliar with a lot of these players on the board, if you will. So we're getting introduced to a lot of key players. She's ready to tackle whatever Sumeru has to bring. I think the Sumeru arc is going to be a very interesting one, and I cannot wait to see how the rest of the story unfolds. I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze my thoughts in here about just the overall plot. I think this was a great first act. I think it's a wonderful introduction to the culture of these people, how they live. We have a good understanding of what everybody's like everyday life is like, and that's accomplished through not just the writing and the dialogue and how certain people or certain NPCs talk about certain factions or how they, you know, interact with the traveler, but in the world building that's literally built into the environment, and how the environment tells so much. There's a lot of storytelling for you. And I don't think that we have been significantly lacking that in other nations, but I've noticed in Sumeru specifically, it feels so alive. Walking through Sumeru, seeing what kind of shops they have, the cafes, like it tells you a lot about what everybody enjoys. Like, people like going to the cafes, they like going there to get information, to discuss. There's we haven't been to the academia yet, but I'm sure we're going to learn a lot about what the academia as a guild or faction values based off of what we see in there. Because in the restaurants, we see like how certain people come in and obviously eat there, but we saw veterans in there, you know, like we're getting a lot of small tidbits of information about factions through the NPCs that walk around and interact with these environments. And I don't know, I think it's not something that maybe everyone notices if you're not kind of like looking for it, if you're not talking to like every NPC like I do. But I think it's a wonderful way to support the overall narrative, is that you have all these details in what the NPCs are doing in these cafes and what they're doing in with like the theater. Like we learned a lot about how people enjoy their time. Like they go to this bazaar and like shop around, and you see the people dancing, like the NPCs dancing and people watching the dancers, and the marketplaces are so bustling and big. It's like Sumeru feels so big. I think maybe it's because Inazuma was like a nation of islands, so it felt like we were getting, it was like taking small bites of a bigger pie. But with Sumeru, I feel like we're just being given these like huge slices of pie and just like slowly working our way through them every new place we go. Sumeru just feels massive. And maybe the area of the map isn't huge, but the actual places, like when we go to these forests, when we go to these like mushroom forests too, and the verticality in the design is really astonishing. They make you feel so small in these huge forests, and the plants being so big, and the way that they design all this foliage around the landscape is just so good. And I don't know, it makes it feel so unique, and it makes it feel so alive and like over lush, which is good, right? I feel like that's what we were going for when it comes to Sumeru. When it comes to the narrative, so not just the environmental storytelling and how the environments work to help support the, you know, actual plot, I think a lot of the characters that we've met are really fun. I think Nari and Calais was a great first step. I think coming into Sumeru through that little tunnel, and it slowly opens up and up and up and up, and we're led through all that space with Nari. Then we're taken to the city, and then we meet a character like Alhaitham and Dory, who are kind of like these, they feel so different than like Nari and Calais. Like they definitely seem to value slightly different things. We don't know very much about Hytham. He is very mysterious. We'll get to him. Nilo and Dunyazard and Dehya, like all these really interesting characters that really bring this culture alive. The story so far has just been kind of like methodically introducing really in key elements of not just Sumeru's culture, but elements of Sumeru that probably will be important to keep note of. I have to say, before we get into more of the plot, I'm a little disappointed with some of the representation I've seen in Sumeru, or I should say more so the lack thereof. I've said this before, but I am white, so I have no right to say or speak on whether Sumeru is a proper representation of the cultures, of the IRL cultures it pulls from or not. I'm gonna be honest, I was expecting to see more POC characters and NPCs as well. They are there, but I think I was just expecting a little more. And I have to say that because it was on my mind as I was exploring, and I was initially coming into the city. I was surprised to see that there were a lot of, you know, pale people. I was like, okay. I mean, obviously there's diversity in skin color everywhere in the world, but you know, I was expecting a little more, since this is a nation that's drawing from cultures that, you know, don't have predominantly paler skin tones. Okay, that's just objectively true. So I felt like I needed to say that and express that grief that I'm not seeing as much as I thought I would. Maybe we're gonna see more. Like I said, we haven't seen all of Sumeru yet, so I have hope that maybe we'll see more. It seems the desert people, is what I'm loosely calling them, because that's like their association in the game, is that they tend to be people of color. Like a lot of the Eremites have melanin and a lot of the academia people don't. I guess we'll have to see how that shapes up, and for as of right now, because it's very early, I'm gonna give Hoyo the benefit of the doubt and just wait. Okay, but I was a little shocked that there wasn't as much POC rep as I was expecting, and that did bother me. Let's move on to actual plot. I think Dunyazard is going to be a major key player in at least the initial arc of Sumeru. This disease that she has, as well as Kalei, obviously, Eleazar, is intrinsically tied to the deeper themes. I'm assuming, I mean, this has kind of been an overarching theme in every nation we've been to, and it's been woven into the story in slightly different ways, but corruption / erosion of truth, of knowledge, of power, of purity, are all themes that have been present throughout all of the nations. And so this idea of the power of Dendro, of the original Dendro Archon Lord, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, being slowly eaten away by this disease. Okay, it's interesting. I want to see where this is going. I think it's going to have major implications, and it probably echoes, like I said, the deeper themes of the story. I feel like this is the first time we're going to have a really major player in the story that's not playable. I know that there's been very important NPCs and other storylines, okay? So I'm not saying that, but I will say that this is the first time in an Archon quest, not a character quest, because I feel like a lot of the character quests tend to revolve around NPCs and not the playable character they're based off of, which is its own video, honestly. But I feel like in the main quest, this is the first time with we're getting an NPC like Eleazar that seems to be quintessential to at least the original plot, right? That's the kickoff that is going to be vital to the rest of the ensuing chaos. Because this is what that feels like. This first act feels like the calm before the storm. Like, obviously, it's been a whirlwind of excitement coming into Sumeru, seeing this new place, all these new people, all these new characters, these NPCs, this taking in the culture of Sumeru and experiencing all that. Obviously, that's been fun as the player. But in terms of the actual plot that's being set up, I have a feeling that the chaos is going to very quickly ensue. HOYO has trained me well in this regard. I don't trust all the fun, I mean, obviously learning that Kalei has been sick and Eleazar is, killing people. Obviously that's not fun. And this divine knowledge thing is a very interesting concept. I have so many questions about these divine capsules and how they came to be and why and who has the real market on them and if the academia is in on it, because obviously students pay for those and obviously people who aren't students do too, but it's kind of well-known quote unquote secret knowledge. And I just wonder how that is and why that is and how that is going to affect the traveler, especially this idea of corrupt divine knowledge. At least that's what I assume, because it was red and Lumine was like, why is it red? Did he go crazy because it was red? Obviously scholars in the past have gone crazy before, but we're kind of maybe starting to understand that maybe it's not the knowledge or the person, or it wasn't the person, but it was the knowledge, and that there was something wrong with the knowledge. So I'm assuming some sort of corruption. I'm assuming some sort of maybe erosion somehow is maybe in the knowledge. I don't know. But going off of themes that we've experienced before, maybe it's about some sort of erosion and it's eroding people's sanity or mind. Like, it's an expedited process. Because what happened to Azdaha, right? It kind of reminds me of that, where Azdaha, over a long period of time, erosion slowly ate away at his memory, at his personality, at his principles, what he stood for. And he became this villain. He became everything he didn't stand for, right? The opposite of who he was. And I'm wondering, I mean, of course that process took ages to happen until it got so bad that Zhongli had to actually lock him up and seal him away. But I'm wondering if these divine knowledge capsules are somehow erosion pro max, where if you take in this knowledge, it's somehow erosion and maybe not knowledge or something, and it's expediting the erosion process, where it's turning these people into things that they're not, because it's crumbling everything that they were. So, and we didn't hear that the scholars who did go mad ever recovered, right? So it's permanent. At least that's what it seems like as of right now. Maybe that's, a plot twist later, but as of right now, it's not you can't recover from this. So I'm wondering if it's maybe something like that, where it's expedited corrosion or erosion of the mind, or soul. or maybe ambition. Like maybe it's like a twist on like, you know, how Raiden was taking away, or, you know, the puppet and the Futui were in Inazuma were taking away people's visions, and taking away someone's vision, ripping them away from someone can really affect their personality and their ambition, because you're taking something vital from them, right? And maybe it's something like that too, where it's like you're taking away something vital from somebody, or in this case, you're inputting something that is eating away at someone. So I'm very interested in that, and I can't wait to see why the fuck Alhaitham wants it, why he took it, why he lied. I mean, again, he lied by omission. He didn't say he had it, and he let us walk away not telling us he had it. And he said something about, oh, should I tell the higher ups? So I wonder if he's like some kind of spy or what. I mean, we're already talking about Alhaitham, so let's just start that, because I'm going to be wanting to talk about him first. I'm sorry. Shoot me, kill me, sue me. Other than the fact that he lied and he lied by omission, I'm really curious about who these higher ups are. He seemed to be recognized by the academia people, like when they identified, the NPC identified him, and they're like, we got this, Alhaitham, please don't impede our work, and he put his hand out. It seems that Alhaitham is somehow, maybe he works for the academia, maybe, I don't know if he's a professor, like, I don't know what I know that there's sages, but like, I don't know what you do in the academia, aside from being a student, which obviously I know what students do, but what project they're working on, this mysterious project that they were trying to recruit Technati about. I want to know if Alhaitham is involved in that, or if he's like I said in the video earlier, or the last one, or whenever it is that was posted or edited, that maybe he's part of like some sort of secret faction within the academia, because we really don't know much about the academia and the intricacies of the academia. We just know that the sages seem to be power hungry, which, okay, makes sense. Power is knowledge is power, so it makes sense that they would be kind of, you know, a political seat of power, and especially in Sumeru, the land of knowledge, people who have the most knowledge hold the most power. That makes a lot of sense. But we don't really know, you know, if there's sub factions within the academia, which I assume there are. I'm assuming it's not just like black and white. That would be boring and most unlikely. So I can't wait to see what those sub factions might be, and if the sages all agree with each other. If the sages have individual agendas, and if they do, how those agendas affect the rest of their darshans, or how maybe the sages' political vying for power affects the whole rest of the academia, and it kind of like, it's the pinnacle of how, you know, the culture of the academia is, and how other scholars interact with each other, or if there's hierarchy between the scholars or darshans. How equal is it? Even if they might say it's equal, maybe it's not, like, we don't know. So I think it'd be interesting to finally get into the academia and really dig our teeth into the complexities that might live there. And I'm wondering if Alhaitham is maybe one of those new factions, or he's like part of some sort of, I don't know, secret group vying for power. Is he corrupt? Is he said higher up, so he's not in charge, it doesn't seem like, but who is he answering to? Or is he not answering to somebody? Because he did say, should I answer to the higher ups about this? So we don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I think it's really cool that they left us on that cliffhanger. I really think he's an interesting guy. I don't know if he means ill will. I think what makes him so interesting is that he is really smart. He does his research. He gets shit done. He seems very prepared and very knowledgeable about things, and he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that gets caught off guard. He knows everything. That's the kind of vibe I get. So he did take interest in Lumine. I'm a little suspicious when he was quote unquote helping us train, and he was essentially taking notes and like recording data on how we fought and our power levels. I'm still like a little, that's kind of sus, okay? Because him now also keeping the divine knowledge capsule from us, like, why was he recording that? Like, obviously that wasn't just to help us out, you know what I mean? I feel like he always has like ulterior motives, and I don't know if they're for ill or for good yet, so we'll have to see, you know. Again, like, he didn't come across as a villain, but I am hoping that he's not. I think it's really cool how they set up his personality and his goals are very muddled and you're not really sure. But what we do know is that he is probably not a guy you want to fuck with because he seems 10 steps ahead of you. That's the impression I got from him. So it's not that he's comes across as like visually intimidating or violently intimidating. The intimidation factor for him, for me at least, is in how he uses his knowledge and how he weaponizes it, which we saw him do first scene we saw of him. So I'm very excited. And he also seems to be able to fight too. I think it was really cool how in the fight, he wasn't like Ito, or he wasn't like a brawler where he went in trying to like go against this bigger opponent, like fist for fist. He was very smart in the way he fought. And again, this is like a small detail and it seems a little bit self-explanatory, but I just think it's really good storytelling that visually, through physical storytelling without words or dialogue, we still were gathering information about this character. The way he was dodging hits and he was very precise. It was almost like he was using the least amount of effort that he needed to. Like it didn't cost him anything. He wasn't like huffing and puffing. He just dodged the hits. He saw that he could, and he was fast enough to do it. And he was precise in targeting specifically the Akasha to knock this guy out. And just fighting smart like that just adds further to the slight intimidation of like, okay, this guy not only can think 10 steps ahead of you, but he's also really smart in how he handles conflict, whether that conflict is verbal or physical. So anyway, let's move on. I think I've said all I needed to say about Alhaitham. You guys know how much I simp for him, how much I love this character. I think he's hot. Okay. Would love if he had a little melanin, not gonna lie. But anyway, let's talk about Dehya and Dunyazard. I'm gonna rope them together because they were both equally shared the bit of the plot. I think the two of them are really fun. I like that they have this like bodyguard kind of like client relationship, but they're also like really good friends. Like they know each other really well. And then she's been guarding Dunyazard, not just for like financial, like she was financially hired, but it seems that she also does care about Dunyazard, especially her family too. It seems that her parents were very kind to Dehya. So I really like their dynamic. I think it's a fun dynamic to explore in the game and have the Traveler interact with them as a trio. I can't wait to learn more about Dehya. I really like her design. Her design is sick as fuck. Like she looks so awesome. I can't wait for her to come out and be playable because seriously, she looks so cool. I love her like gauntlet thing. I don't know what it is, or if it's if it's a device. Like, is it a device? Is it just armor? I'm not sure. I don't think she has cat ears. They kind of look like, it's like Kaching, where it's kind of like her hair styled that way. I don't think it's cat ears. It gives her like kind of like a lion kind of a look, right? And I think on her gauntlet too, on her shoulder, it's very like she has claws too. It's very very lioness. So we love to see it. Very cool. And I can't wait to see what that technology, if it's technology, if it's not just armor, like what kind of technology is it? It kind of glows a little bit, so I'm assuming there's something to it there. I don't know if that's her vision or what. It seemed that she had a pyrovision and the armor was glowing like almost gold, like a geo color. So not sure what that's about, but we'll see. I'm excited to learn more about her. I'm excited to spend a little more time with her because, like I said, she's really cool. She's probably, other than Alhaitham, she's probably my favorite character we've met so far in Sumeru. She's sick. I love her to death. Dunyazard is really pretty. I think she's a very lovely NPC. Her having a direct tie to Lesser Lord Kusulani is super interesting. I can't wait to see what that connection is going to bring and how that plays into the story. If maybe it's setting the stage for us having a connection to Kusulani that way, or if we can communicate to Kusulani through Dunyazard. Maybe she'll be like Kusulani's mouthpiece. I don't know. We'll see. I'm super excited. I think the idea that the Dendro Archon can like speak directly into people's minds is really fascinating, and I'm curious if that's just like part of her power as the Dendro Archon, or if it's like a technology that's allowing her to do that. Like I'm not sure. I think it's really cool. But it's what is also super interesting too is that we were getting her in our minds, like she was speaking to us in our minds all the way on the Golden Apple Islands. So it extends past Sumeru, which is interesting. I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that happens and how she ties into Dunyazard's story. We don't know much about Kusalani, so I'm just kind of talking about her right now. But I think it's, from what I've heard, a lot of the lore that we got from Nilo, or a little bit of the lore, the stories, I should say, mythologies, because a lot of people don't seem to know about Lesser Lord Kusalani because the academia is keeping her locked up tight, which can't be good, right? That can't be a good sign. But I think it's really interesting how Kusalani is still communicating with certain people, and it makes you wonder like why she doesn't communicate with like other people this way, if it's taxing on her, who knows? We'll find out. But I think her connection with Dunyazard is interesting. And I don't know if that's maybe because she also has Eleazar, or maybe Eleazar doesn't have anything to do with it. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Maybe it has to do with desperation or loneliness. Because Dunyazard was saying that when she was young, like when Kusalani did speak to her, it was when she was a child and she was like at her lowest and she never went outside and she was super depressed. So maybe it's like a desperation, an emotional desperation that called Kusalani to her. I'm not sure. So we'll have to see what that is and why the bond happened, if it's breakable, if it's one-sided. We'll see. Just gonna quickly chat about Nilo. She did make a brief appearance. There's not much I do have to say other than I really like her design. I wish she had some melanin, but you know, I'm a broken record at this point. I like her veil, I like her horns, her headdress. I like that it's supposed to be a representation of the goddess of flowers. I think one thing that's really cool about Sumeru too that I forgot to mention earlier is how we have all these different gods in the mythology. I know that in other nations we have different important not mythological, spiritual or supernatural creatures. Like Raiden had her whole friend group of supernatural friends, or I should say and Makoto did. We had Zhongli with all of his adepti. We do have instances in other nations where the Archon is surrounded by supernatural beings, but I think this is the first time we're really getting like multiple gods, because in Liyue, like Zhongli was the Archon, he was the god. Yes, there were other adepti, but the other adepti never called themselves gods. There was always reverence and deference to Zhongli. That was undisputed, right? Raiden, or I should say Ei and Makoto, undisputed. There was no, well, I mean, within their friend group, okay? I know we had the Orobashi. Okay, I'm not getting into that, but I mean, non-hostile, okay? No one in their friend group, like, thought themselves equal to Ei or Makoto, or thought of themselves as gods alongside them. And in Sumeru, it seems that maybe that's the case. Not just the gods. We don't have no idea if they were all Archons, if one of them was the Archon, like it was just the Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, or if the other two are called gods by the people, or if they were actual gods, or if they were kind of like adepti or like supernatural creatures that just throughout time ended up becoming called gods. Like, we don't know, but I'm really curious. Like, I'm curious to learn more about the lore there and exploring that relationship between Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, the goddess of flowers, and then there's this mysterious other figure that was unnamed. And I have a feeling that figure is probably tied to maybe the desert area, because we did hear that the Red King is what the Eremites were saying, that the god of the desert, the god of the sands, was betrayed and they're trying to revive him, which is why they're going after the divine capsules, right? So maybe this mysterious third figure in Nilo's story was this other god of the desert. I don't know. And I think it's super cool how we have this new little mini pantheon to explore. I think it's fun and I can't wait to learn more about it. And Nilo was a cool vessel to kind of dip our toe into the wider pool of Sumeru and its history and the gods and or supernatural beings or higher beings or maybe divine beings that were involved in its history. Because learning more about how Greater Rukkhadevata and Lesser Lord Kusalani, how that torch was passed, how she even became Archon, or if it was a rebirth, or if it was a torch that was passed along in another way. Very curious to learn all about that. So looking forward to that. And Nilo, I feel like, may have close ties to those storylines just simply because she literally is wearing the ceremonial garb that's supposed to represent the goddess of flowers. Like, she's kind of like the dancing shrine maiden trope. At least that's how it came across to me, that she values the art and of the dance, and that the ceremonial nature of sharing the dance, of sharing the art, is vital to keeping the idea of the gods alive and showing reverence to them and celebrating them, especially Lesser Lord Kusalani. So I think it's gonna be maybe her avenue. I'm not sure. Don't know much about her, so we'll see, but I like her so far. I think she's fun. I talked a great deal about Nari and Calais already, but I'll just say here, because we're talking about, this is the Act 1 wrap up, I really like them. I'm sure we'll see them again. Obviously, Calais is a very major player. She has Eleazar as well. She is part of the stakes, I think. Dunyazard as well. That this sickness, this Eleazar, I think is, like I said, is deeply tied to the overarching themes of Sumeru. And so I think Calais and Dunyazard are going to be part of the stakes that, you know, we have to prevail in whatever trial Sumeru brings us. We have to prevail, or Calais and Dunyazard and others who have Eleazar, and maybe others who are suffering from this corruption or erosion or whatever it ends up being, what that's wrong with the divine capsules, they're gonna be the stakes. So obviously Clay's super important. She's also very sweet. I love Teknati. I think he's really a cool look at the scholar archetype. He doesn't take shit from people, and the way he cares so much about the forest and looks after his community. I don't know. I really like how he cares, how he's kind of dedicated to preserving and learning about the nature. And that makes a lot of sense because Sumeru is the land of knowledge, but it's also this lush land of forests and plants and creatures, and having a character that's dedicated to preserving those things, to studying those things, and the connection those ecosystems have to the people who live in those ecosystems makes a lot of sense. And it's cool that they created a character like that. I already said my piece about Dory a little bit, but just to reiterate, we didn't really spend that much time with her. I didn't really like her, but I think that her role in establishing that Sumeru, the marketplaces of Sumeru, have an underbelly, that there's like kind of like a black market. This is a cool concept. We haven't really explored that kind of thing before in any of the other nations. I mean, there was a little bit of that in Inazuma, but that was more just like tariffs and avoiding war taxation, and it kind of had to do with like, you know, the resistance. So it was kind of there, but not like this where there's no war or strife, at least outwardly, okay, within the borders of Sumeru, and that this black market is providing things to people. It's like secret but not secret. Since we found out so easily about it, and we were in Sumeru for like 2 days, so it's cool that they're establishing these different levels of economy. And I know that's like such a, like I said, it's kind of like a smaller detail that most people probably don't give second thought to, but to me, I just really appreciate that they're building layers to this nation, that this culture, these people, and how they live their lives, how their economy works, what daily habits are, and what they value as a society. I think it's cool. And like I said, I think it's going to come into play. They wouldn't give this much effort and thought and care into establishing these things about Sumeru if it's not important later. So that's why I'm taking it in, and that's why I'm paying attention to that. So I like that Dory at least was the gateway in which we could experience this black market concept. I'm sure it'll come into play later, whether that is more storylines and plots with the desert people, maybe? I don't know. At least she functions in the plot, right? I can't argue objectively with that. I wish they'd taken her design slightly differently, and the approach to her character slightly differently, and that she was maybe given a little more complexity as a character. But you know what? Maybe she will be, and you know, maybe I'm just yapping, because again, this is Act 1, so this is the start. This is the starting line. So those are really all the characters I wanted to chat about. I'm very excited to meet more. We haven't seen Sino, or Sino. I call him Sino. We haven't seen Sino yet. who was on the Travail trailer. So excited to meet him. Don't know when we will do that, but I'm excited. I think it'll be a fun time. Can't wait to learn more about Hytham's goals, the fuckery he's doing with that divine capsule. Excited to learn more about Denizard. Hopefully she ends up not dying. I don't want that woman to die. She doesn't deserve it. She's too pure for this world. Can't wait to see more Dehya and Nilo and all the characters. So super excited. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you did, as always, I very much appreciate you spending your time with me. This is Future Nikki talking. I did record this long ass wrap up. I do at the end of each act of Sumeru going forward. So you can expect that after each act where I kind of like just give my thoughts about the characters and the plot and what's going on and maybe context and stuff like that. I do stream on Twitch every week, or at least I try to. If you would like to get notified of when I go live, or you would just like to come hang out with the community, our Discord link is down in the description. If you would like to hang out or lurk or just get notifications or chat or whatever, feel free. We'd love to have you. Everyone is very chill. Also, all relevant links are going to be down in the description as well. My secondary VOD channel is updated regularly. Twitter, Insta, Patreon, you know, the works are all down there. If I don't see you live, then I will see you in the next one.